Hi guys, this is your English language teacher and IELTS trainer Maha, and welcome to my live broadcast on English O Canada, the YouTube channel, and English O Canada, the Facebook page. I hope you guys are doing well, and I really hope that you watched the video, the live video with Samina Amjad that was on her COE page. If you haven't seen it, then please go and watch it. It's the video before this one, and I'm sure you're going to learn a lot, and you're going to appreciate her efforts as well and all that she's doing. So please do like her page, do follow her. She does a great job, and she does a lot of interviews with a lot of people. So it was an honor for me to be, with her on that show. So again, the format of this show is that if you need to practice your conversation, then you can let me know. I'll send you the address and the StreamYard address, and you can join this live stream, and we can have a quick conversation. This is going to be a very short one because I am waiting for somebody. And then when they're available, then we're going to go live on that page as well. So, Shanali, welcome. Hi, Vlager, hello. Nice to have you here. I don't think I've seen you before. Shanali says, today changed background as well as looking so nice. Thank you very much. Yes, I did change the background. I changed where I usually normally sit. So I'm sitting in a different location today at home. So if there's anybody who's interested in having a live conversation, please let me know. Do share this video, guys, because the more you share it, the more people will see it, and the more people who get to see it will have an opportunity to come here and do a quick live session with me and, practice their language skills. So this is Maha, your English language trainer and English language teacher and IELTS trainer, doing a live conversation on English O Canada, the YouTube channel, and the Facebook page. All right, so waiting for the numbers to go up. Let's have at least 50 people watching me right now. It will be good. For that, you'll have to share this live stream. So please share it on your walls, share it on your WhatsApp groups, your Facebook Messenger, wherever it is. It will be great. John Sikandar says, I'm new on your page. Welcome, John Sikandar, to my page. This is where I come on, or I try to come on a regular basis to have conversations with anybody who wants to practice their English language skills. I will be posting, there you go, in the comments, I have just posted the StreamYard link. And you can type that up in your browser and become a part of this live stream. It is now on my screen as well, so you won't be able to click it for some reason, but then what you can do is just type it up on your browsers. And once you do, then you enter the broadcast studio, and then I can bring you on to this live stream with me, and we can have a chit chat. You can ask me questions, we can practice your conversation skills, your communication skills, your confidence, whatever it is, the fluency and the accuracy, everything that comes with speaking the language. So as usual, I'm going to sit here and wait for people to join this live stream. Let me just share this on my personal profile, on my Kitabi, and on my personal profile as well, so that I pick up the audience from the other two pages also. I always like having a class full. So, I don't mind having a couple of students in the classroom because then it's more focused learning, but then it's always better to have more people watching and then more people trying to join in this live stream, because it's just nicer to see different people all the time, who want to improve their language skills, who want to become better speakers of the language, and everything that comes with it. Very soon on the Kitabi page, we'll be starting storytelling sessions as well. So there's there's somebody else who's going to be coming live on the English O Canada page, sorry, the Kitabi page. And then once she does, then, she'll be doing live stream sessions over here or recorded videos to come and speak the language. Vamik Saab is watching. Assalamu alaikum. Kaise hain aap? Theek thak? Sorry, how are you? How's it going? I try not to speak Urdu here because this is English of Canada and we're here to practice our language skills. So again, if somebody wants to join in this live stream, I have posted the address on the screen. It's also in the comments. All you have to do is type that address up and you can join this. Walaikum assalam to Ghazala Bhabi. I hope she's doing well, and I hope that your Ramadan is going pretty well as well. I hope to see you guys soon. Please do, when everything is settled and the corona is kind of like out of the air, then please try to make a trip down to Canada. It would be nice to have you all here and bring the whole group with you. We all haven't met in a very, very long time, like almost 3 years. So Vamik Saab, it would be nice to have you guys in Canada with us, and then just, enjoy. Osama Hassan says, are you Muslim? Yes, I am. Daniel Ahmed Khan says, oh, interesting. So Daniel Ahmed Khan, I am going to block you. There you go. I'm not really sure why you're here, but blocked Daniel. Inshallah, I hope to see you too as well, Vamik Saab. Walid Khan says, hi, how are you? English seekhni hai. Well, if you want to learn English, then you need to practice it. And if you want to practice it, then you can always follow me on English Show Canada on this page. And you can join my live streams, take part in the conversation classes that we have here, completely free of cost, of course. But yes. Abdul Samad is saying, you're very graceful. Maha, kindly accept my friend request. Abdul Samad, thank you so much for the offer, but I don't accept friend requests from people that I don't know personally. So if I have met somebody personally and their ideologies meet with mine, then I will have them on my Facebook friend requests or friends list, but not otherwise. Facebook does have an option to follow people. Usama Hassan says, do you know about Momin Saqib? No, I don't think so. Hasnan says, how I can get 7.5 IELTS band. You have to practice a lot. And once you practice a lot, then you can achieve whatever you need to achieve. It's all about practice, consistency, and keeping yourself going and learning the language. Muhammad Ali Tusi has joined us as well. Assalamu alaikum. I hope you're well. Again, if there's anybody who is interested in joining this live stream, then please type up this address in their browsers, in your browsers, and then you can join this live stream and become a part of the English O Canada Let's Have a Conversation class. Osama Hassan says, what progress we do to get visa? What visa are you talking about? Hasnan says, you will suggest some books. I don't suggest books. All I suggest is newspapers. Abdul Sattar says, where to find partner to talk? Talk to yourself if you don't have a partner to talk. Talk to yourself in the camera, in the mirror, whatever it is. Hasnan says, old or send me some document regarding IELTS preparations. You can Google. Everything is available on Google. Zespo says, what is the topic today? There's no topic. We're just going to have a conversation. Anybody who wants to join the live stream, then your address is here. Type this up in your browsers, and then you can join this live stream. Abdul Samad says, Khair, I'm following you. Love your live videos. Thank you very much. I've watched a few in the past. I wonder, what is this live all about? This live is basically about bringing people here who want to improve their language, who want to be able to speak in English and gain the confidence. So when you come here, then you can just, speak to me, speak to whoever is available. All right, first guest of the day. Assalamu alaikum. How are you?
How are you?
I'm good. Thank you very much for joining me again.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. How's the last couple of days of Ramadan going for you?
Alhamdulillah, it's fine. It's good. It's good. It's
Yeah.
good, and it's interesting. It's good, and well, it's. I've actually changed my schedule. I work for myself, so I've changed my schedule. I've changed my schedule, and I wake up around. I mean, I sleep after Seher, and I wake up around 1 or 2.
In the afternoon.
So
Okay.
yeah, so most of the time I'm actually sleeping anyway. So
Okay.
it.
And you have clients based in Pakistan as well, right?
Well, yes, but not active. Not active ones.
Okay.
My business is more outside of Pakistan now.
Okay. Okay. That's great. Quick question. There is somebody who wants to set up a call center in Pakistan. They have the facility, they have the manpower. They're looking for clients in the West. Do you have any connections?
Uh, I mean,
Or
connections are not used like that. Connections are not used like that. I
right.
mean,
And you
obviously the
know
connections, but I mean, it's not as simple as that.
Right. Okay. Okay. Just thought I'll put it forward because I did get a request a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, it's just Maha. It's just that if I actually recommend someone, then I'll have to know that they're worth recommending, and the people you're talking might be excellent, but
Right.
until I don't do the due diligence myself,
Of
if I
course.
recommend just because of I've heard of them, that would actually put a question mark on my credibility.
I completely agree with you. So if you do come across anybody who is willing to, or who is looking to, having a call center running out of Pakistan, then do let me know. I'll connect you with that gentleman. You can do
Yeah,
all your
and
due diligence
yeah,
because otherwise it
yeah.
doesn't work. Yeah.
Otherwise it won't work.
Yes. So okay. Okay. So what's new?
What's new? I'm not sure what we actually talk. I mean, the only thing which is new is I've just recently started a joint venture with Asian Institute of Technology, Thailand, and that is
Okay.
for delivering Lean Six Sigma and change management courses, certification courses. And
Okay.
initially it's going to be done through Zoom and maybe WebEx or something like that.
Okay.
And after COVID-19, it would be more going to the training center and delivering sessions over there. So for me, that's
Okay.
the most latest things.
Right. Yeah, nothing new is happening over here either, except that Ramadan is coming to an end. Um, we did hear a news that a lot of places are opening up, but then social distancing is a major point that they're all looking at. So there's a lot of changes that they're making in Canada right now. The schools are not going to be opening up until September. So that's
Yeah,
some sort of news at our end. So we're all home for the next couple of months, which is,
and that's
which
not surprising. Maha, that's not surprising. I mean, when COVID-19 started, I had a conversation. We had a session, and I had one of my counterparts from Vietnam, and he actually
right.
said that SARS-1 stayed for nine
Uh-huh.
months. The effects of SARS-1 stayed for 9 months, and this is
Yeah.
SARS-2. So I
Right.
mean, we in the non-Chinese areas didn't actually experience SARS-1, so we had no idea what it was,
Right.
but they did. So he actually categorically said, and in one of my what do you call it, chats with him, is that mentally Vietnam
Right.
has discounted that 2020 even existed. They've mentally discounted that, and we're talking about a country which has exports of around 200 billion plus
Hmm.
dollars. Yeah,
Right.
and they just have orders. There've been massive cancellations over there, and they
Hmm.
just have orders till June. After that, the time when we actually had that conversation, they said after that we don't have any more audio, so most probably it's not going to exist for us.
Right.
I
You
mean,
know,
there's going to be a massive change in the world,
a
massive,
lot
massive
of
change.
a lot of businesses are shutting down here in Canada. For instance, there's this very big food chain called Nando's. I think it's West
Yeah,
Indies,
Portuguese. It's Portuguese.
Portuguese. So their 12 of their locations are shutting down here in Toronto.
Wow.
So
Yeah,
I'm
because
just thinking,
if people are not eating out, I mean, how long can anyone survive? I mean, I have a friend who has a small outlet, and he was really, really, I mean, scared of the situation. He kept on paying. He kept on paying. He's still paying his employees despite no business. But recently, he's actually started some, I would say, delivery stuff. So he's converted that his normal business into a delivery system. So yeah. So hopefully it would pick up and people would start coming in, and the people who are employed would still be employed, because I mean everyone has a limit.
Right.
Everyone has a limit, and in this economy, what's going to happen? God knows. God knows.
So are businesses and restaurants also shutting down in Pakistan?
I cannot comment properly about that because I have done a proper lockdown. I have my parents. I live with my parents,
Right.
and I live with my parents, and because of them, I am extra careful. So I don't know what's going on outside, because I mean I've heard that there's a lot of things shopping. People are going to shops and everything, and they're gone all crazy once the lockdown eased up a bit. But I don't go out that much. I just go for groceries.
Right.
But yes, eventually something like that might happen. If there's a prolonged lockdown, yes, it might happen. And it's a very difficult decision to make. It's a very difficult decision to make for the governments. And I pity the leaders at the moment. Whoever is the leader in any country, I actually pity them.
Right.
Because they have to decide between people dying by hunger or people dying by corona.
Right.
I mean, if we talk about herd immunity, and let's presume the 3.5% death rate is wrong. Let's presume that's wrong, and it's just 0.5%. Let's presume it's just 0.5%.
Right.
That means in 220 million people, we're talking about 1.1 million deaths just because of corona. I mean, that's not a nice figure to actually live on. But either a vaccine is going to come up, or either some treatment we're going to find out some treatment, or I mean, I don't understand what is the acceptable level in any country.
In any country, right? Exactly. And then there's a lot of conspiracies going on as well. People don't know if it's the numbers are right. Like even over here in Canada, they've had issues where they've said that okay, we had the wrong stats, right? So you're thinking, like, I saw a news in Pakistan, from Pakistan, that the day when the lockdown was lifted, so everybody was out on the streets and there were a lot of traffic jams. And the same night, the news comes out that there is thousands of people that are infected. And I'm just thinking,
the infected actually takes 2 weeks. It takes 2 weeks. It takes a week or two.
It takes a week or two. So how can they have a news come out like this, saying that just because people were out on the streets, we have thousands of people that have just been infected and they've taken up the corona. I mean, how can you do a test within 24 hours, within a couple of hours, and then claim such huge numbers? So that's when you start thinking that, okay, what is the truth behind the whole thing, right? We have a young boy, Tokir. I'm going to bring him on.
Okay.
As well. There are two people here. Hello.
Hello.
Hi, Tokir. Hello, Tokir. We have a young boy, Tokir. I'm going to bring him on.
He's not responding.
I don't know. I think two of his devices are on. Tokir, can you just okay, I'm going to put him back until he settles down.
Yeah, I can actually tell you something about my own. Within my family, my brother had it.
Oh, he did? Okay.
Yeah, he's a pulmonologist.
Right.
He's treating patients.
Okay.
And, well, he's physically very fit, so he was just affected for a few days.
Right.
But he was physically fit.
Okay.
I mean, he's just 60 kilograms.
Right.
He's just 60 kilograms of muscular. So you can, I mean, and he's shorter than me.
Right.
So, and he has a good diet. So yeah, he's okay. I know some people who are distant relatives who are on the ventilator.
Okay.
So there are such cases. And one of the people who actually made that ventilator, that you might have heard about, someone actually, 10 people, like 6-7 people actually went in a room and they designed a ventilator in Pakistan. One of those, the doctor out of that has contracted corona, and his wife has also contracted corona. So this thing is pretty real. Unfortunately, it's pretty real, and it's something which I would say that there is a trend in people who have the real stats. Let's put it like that. I mean, I discount news channels. But they are governments who have the real stats. I mean, like my brother says that now that they've been Corona's been in America since a few months, that they can see some trends. So some people have stats, but I'm not sure how credible these news channels are, which actually would give a breaking news without actually verifying the sources.
Right.
And I mean, I don't know which news channel you actually saw it. I mean, I don't watch that news that much anyways now, because the quality of news and the quality of journalism has drastically gone down. I think it's gone down globally, but there's still some reasonable channels, but still, it's gone down.
What the other thing that surprises me about this as well, obviously it's all to do with your immune system, you know, how strong you are, how healthy you've kept yourself, you know, whether it is corona, whether it is cancer.
Yeah, that's another thing. Yeah.
Cancer is very, you know, environmentally dependent in a way, right? So if you are not living in the right environment, and it doesn't mean the air around you, but the food that you take in, and, you know, whatever you eat and drink, whatever you're feeding your body with, then you will eventually end up, you know, with diseases and illnesses, right? If you're not keeping yourself healthy, because there have been cases where a husband has been, you know, they got the coronavirus, but the wife didn't, or the wife had it, or the husband didn't have it, or one person in the family had it and the rest did not have it. So again, I think it's all immune systems that we need to.
Maha, if you have a good immune system, you'll still get it. It's just that it's just that the symptoms would not be as strong.
Okay.
So yeah, contracting. I mean, according to what my brother actually said once, I mean, he said that. Well, I'm not a doctor, so maybe I'm not supposed to. Don't take it credible because I'm saying it. It's not a doctor saying it. He said that 50% of the people would never even know they had it.
Yes.
Because they won't have any symptoms, but they can infect. They can infect others.
Okay.
So just because they are carriers,
right?
It's not just because it's not affecting them because of the immune system is really good, but that doesn't mean they're not carrying. They cannot infect others. So that's one reason why I think it could be one reason. If you don't test, you don't find out.
Right.
That's one reason, and another reason is maybe they're not so intimate anyways, or maybe they're keeping that distance in the cases you're talking about.
Right.
Like in my case, what happened was that fortunately only my brother had it. His wife didn't have it, and because I mean my brother works for 14, 16 hours a day.
Right.
So what do you expect? And as soon as he actually felt that there's a possibility, he tested himself. As soon as he found out, he tested his wife. He got his wife tested too, and his wife was fine.
She was fine. Yeah. Okay. I think I already had it as well, to be very honest, because way back in the beginning of, I would say, January, the second week of January, when we went back to school after the holidays, I was down with the most horrible flu that I could ever imagine. I lost my sense of hearing. My ears were always blocked. My sense of smell was gone. I do get sick, but not very often. So when I did, it just did not feel so normal. And it stayed with me. My symptoms stayed with me for a good 2 weeks. But at that time, corona wasn't the talk of the town.
It could have been that. It could have been that because I mean, as long as you wouldn't have short of breath, you wouldn't have actually even gone to the hospital anyways.
I did have shortness of breath, but because corona wasn't, talk of the town.
Oh, you did have shortness of breath. Okay.
Yes, I did. But because corona wasn't the talk of the town, and it wasn't so much, like it wasn't so globally, spread. So nobody really bothered. And all I did was I took up, my regular NyQuil, which is like Tylenol, Panadol, and I overdose usually on these medicines, and I sleep it off. And I rested, and I made sure that I had my ginger tea and all the herbal stuff that we drink, from our kitchen.
Yeah, and I don't think the doctors could do anything because there's no, virus. There is no treatment for a virus, anyways.
Exactly. So all you got to do is rest and just chill it out.
Rest off. Yeah, rest off.
rest it off. Okay, so there's some people who are interested in joining this live stream. Usama Hassan, if you want to come live, then the link. Oops, sorry, I deleted the link from the. Hold on. So this is the link which has just appeared on the screen. You'll have to type this up on your browser. You can join this conversation. There's somebody else who wants to, yeah, Osama Hassan is saying that he wants to come down on this live stream. Then please do type this up on your browsers and you can be a part of it. Samina Amjad is watching us as well. I just had a quick interview with Samina Amjad. She's the mother of Arfa Karim, and it was a great honor to be, sharing the screen with her. I don't know if you got a chance to see that or not. But
no, I haven't seen it, but I mean, it's a great honor because I mean, one of my students actually, Shafaq Metala, she worked for her.
Okay.
She worked for her. She's a distant relative, and she worked for that society, Arfa Karim Society Foundation. Because I'm not sure whether she told you or not, but a lot of people took a lot of money from people in Arfa Karim's name and swindled it. Did she say that?
Yeah. No, she didn't mention that. We just talked about
yeah, but that's what I know from my sources.
Right.
A lot of people actually misused her name too. But yeah, that girl was a pride of the nation. Yes.
Yeah, Samina ji is saying that she is my niece. So the lady that you're talking about is Samina's niece.
She's my student, and she's my student basically.
Okay, she's your student. Okay.
She used to be.
Okay. Great. No, it was a very nice interview, and obviously, an honor for me to be a part of a live stream with her, sharing the screen with her, and going on. It feels good. So it makes me feel that I've achieved something to be on a platform with somebody who's a market leader in a way, right? So it's good. And of course, there's tons of Pakistanis doing great jobs across Pakistan, across the globe. And it's good to have people, who accept you without any conditions. And they are working even during this pandemic. Everybody's home, but we've taken up the responsibility of being on social media, of having a voice on social media. Hisham sir is doing the same thing as well. And we go out, we reach out to people. There is no benefit to us. We're not getting paid for it.
I think, we're not getting paid for it, but I still say that there's benefit. You know what?
No, monetary
benefit. Yeah, monetary benefit, obviously, but when someone actually comes to you and says, you told me that, I used it, and now I'm actually successful. I mean, if nothing else, at least we'll actually get something in the next life. Or maybe there's something called karma. I mean, if you help someone, someone will help you. I mean, that all what goes around comes around. So in one way or the other, you do get it.
Of course, and we've come to this world to, pay it forward, to give away what we know, share our knowledge with others. And even if you're not sharing knowledge and we're just having a chit chat, and we're keeping it pretty legit, and we're keeping it pretty modest, and people will pick up good points, even from a regular conversation that,
That's right.
Right. So, okay, what do you want to talk about?
I mean, I just actually came here and I saw your thing, and I just came because there was no one else. That's why I came. So, okay, let me actually think.
Yeah, let's think of a topic.
I think. Let's talk about this thing. I mean, there's something called being successful.
Okay.
And then there's something called being significant.
Okay.
And when someone aligns themselves towards a purpose, the inner motivation and the inner feeling gets better.
Yes.
And that's the difference between becoming successful and significant. Successful, I mean, maybe people who earn a lot could be termed successful, but people who become significant and go beyond that, I mean, the self-actualization of Edie must have been way beyond Mark, way beyond Bill Gates, way beyond anyone else.
Yes.
The self-actualization of that person like that. So, I mean, if you're actually contributing to the society in some way or the other, at least you feel better. I mean, that's something which I have recently read, and I've been doing a lot of studies because, I mean, now I'm a consultant. I used to work for a company, And now I've become a consultant since a few months. And once you're a consultant, you have to have expert knowledge. So you have to keep on actually reading. You have to read. I mean, I've read more than 20 books of change management. I've read more than 50 books of Lean Six Sigma, which I'm actually dealing with.
Right.
And these are both rare topics. But I've still actually found books and actually read them. So,
Right.
and one book actually I saw about the difference between successful and significant, and those organizations which align themselves to a purpose, and if the employees are also aligned towards that purpose, they would stay longer and they would work better because they're working towards a purpose. So having a purpose is something which is really a sense of purpose, and I would say it motivates you sometimes. And I do believe in one thing. When you start giving, you eventually get. When you start giving, you eventually get it back. Like Maha, I've recently come up with a joint venture with Asian Institute of Technology Extension, which is the training and and consulting wing of Asian Institute of Technology Thailand. I got that contract. The negotiation started during COVID-19. It got signed during COVID-19. I did not go to Thailand. They did not come here. All these signatures were done digitally. And I just got it, and it's going to be potentially huge. That thing can be leveraged. If it's leveraged, it's going to be huge. It's going to be. Initially, it's just going to be 6-7 courses, but I'm hopefully going to expand it to something more. And I have been. If you look at my LinkedIn profile, I've been talking to different places for 6 years. I've been talking to different places, sharing my knowledge. So in one way or the other, if it came to me, maybe that's something which God has sent to me, or I've just got it out of the blue.
Right.
Because when I started this business, I had no idea that I would actually get such a contract.
Of course.
So when you share, you actually gain something. Maybe something which you didn't even realize that could have been there. I mean, I'm sure what you're doing, you will get something in return. And sometimes you don't even know. Sometimes the reality is sometimes you don't even know why we got something, or maybe sometimes you don't know that it could have been that something could have been in our fate, which didn't happen because we did some good deed. We don't know. We don't know that. We'll only know at the day of judgment.
Agree. I have been giving for the last, I would say, good 10 years. That I remember, right? And even before that, I'm sure I was in that practice because, alhamdulillah, the family that I come from, we practice the act of giving from a very young age. So helping people around us, helping family members, helping the community, the city, whatever it is, some way or the other. So I started my first proper project back in Dubai when I was living there. It was called the holymonth.com. And the reason why it was called holymonth.com because it started in the month of Ramadan. This is in 2013, so 7 years ago. And I was randomly sitting with my friends, and back in Dubai, it was a very normal thing that, Ramadan starts and we start planning out our iftars. Right. So we list down the 30 restaurants that we want to go for iftar at and spend lots of money and have lavish iftars. Right. So we were sitting down and writing down the budget of how much we're going to be spending. So it shocked me that every day our budget per person was about 100 dirhams.
Okay.
Right, which is about $30, right? And I was just thinking, if we can spend every day 100 dirhams, which is 3,000 dirhams in a year, in a month.
In a month,
it's a lot of money for a lot of people, right? And it doesn't sound right. So I told my friends, I said, listen, is it possible for us to give up one day of iftar at a lavish place? All I need from you is 150 dirhams, and we'll go and feed people. With 150 dirhams, we can feed about 15 people. And they all looked at me, they go like, that's not possible. So the calculation that I did was I need 5 dirhams from each one of you that is sitting in a group together. And with 5 dirhams, I'm going to go feed one person. When they heard the 5 dirhams, they laughed at me. They're like, in 5 dirhams, you won't get anything. I said, don't worry about what we will get. I'll make sure we get something which is really good for the people that we're giving out to. And if you say yes and you want to be a part of it, let's join hands. Obviously, everybody, they saw my motivation, and I somehow have a convincing power as well for certain things with certain people. And they were like, okay, let's do it. Maybe some of them were just giving me the money because they wanted to prove me wrong. That is not going to happen. But when we started it off, we had a lot of volunteers came in together. Some of them stayed, some of them left. In the end, it was me and another friend of mine who kind of like stayed permanent. And then initially it was called the Ramadan campaign. And then the year after, we called it the holyman.com. We had a website going on, Facebook, everything was happening. And starting the first year, we fed about 4,200 people the first year. So on and so forth. 2017, we went out and probably we were reaching out to like 20,000 people. We had a lot of corporates that were calling us and saying, okay, we would like to sponsor a day with you. We would like to become a part of your cause. And it gave us so much power internally to go and do more and more and more. We never took money from the donations like usually nonprofit organizations do, that you can, according to Sharia as well, you can take up to 20% because you need to have your admin cost taken care of, right? Okay. So it was a rule at my end that no matter how much money we collect, we're not taking that 20%. So when me and my friend, we used to sit down together, and he said, we're making a lot of, we're spending a lot of money from our pockets to run this campaign. So I used to tell him, I said, okay, we've only collected 5,000 dirhams. When we reach 10,000 dirhams, we'll take 1,000 dirhams for our running expenses, which could be gas, which could be buying bags, whatever it is, right? So when we reached the 10,000, I was like, okay, let's go to a 20,000. So he would just laugh at me and he goes like, are we ever going to take any money for our personal expenses that are related to this campaign? And I told him clearly, I said, we're not. Unless we reach 100,000 dirhams, it's not happening. So by the end of 2017, per month, we were collecting, alhamdulillah, close to 70,000 dirhams of donations that we were then giving out, but not a single dirham was going into our pockets. We had people, come from all over who collaborated with us, who got associated with us. So all our marketing kits were then taken care of by the sponsors. So let's say we wanted T-shirts, we wanted to do branding, we wanted to have our own bags with a brand name on it, we wanted to get a van for deliveries. Everything started, it became a sponsorship package for us. So we never really felt the need to take a couple of thousand dirhams because we knew everything was taken care of. We'd stopped using our own cars. We stopped wasting our own gas. And believe me, from 2013 to 2017, I don't remember having iftar at home with my family because I was every day out on the streets at the labor camps, feeding the construction workers. It was a beautiful feeling. Alhamdulillah, it was a great achievement, and nothing stopped us. It's like the whole year we had our sponsors with us, we had people with us and all that. And then my Kitabi happened, and Kitabi happened as well. And the gentleman who kind of helped me devise the name, Siddharth Mishra, is watching us right now. Hi, Siddharth. Nice to see you over here after a very long time. So I had a lot of books at home. I come from an education background. My mom is a teacher as well, or she used to be a teacher. She's retired now. So we had a lot of books at home. And I was planning on moving to Canada for about a year, 2 years. And I just thought one day, okay, I've got so many books at home. I don't want to throw them away because as a teacher, I can't throw away books. There's nobody in Dubai who wants them. What do I do? So I randomly thought of an idea and I said, okay, I want to set up libraries in Pakistan. My Facebook has always been very active. So one day I just, as soon as I thought of the idea, I posted it on my Facebook wall saying that I want to set up libraries in Pakistan. Believe me, within 10 minutes, I started getting calls from newspapers because I was already doing a lot of charity work. So I had a lot of journalists on my profile and they were like, what are you cooking now? Like, what's happening? So I said, well, I want to set up libraries. And they're like, you have half an hour, come up with a name, come up with a .com, come up with a whole blueprint, the plan of it. We'll take your interview and tomorrow it's going to get published. It hit me. And I was like, no, I was just I was just, brainstorming
Thinking.
on my
Yes,
face.
brainstorming. Okay.
It was brainstorming, and it was just I got overwhelmed, of course. So I called up a couple of my friends and I said, okay, listen, I need to come up with a name like ASAP. I have 30 minutes. And obviously under pressure, you can't come up with things like that, right? So I called up my friend Siddharth. He lives in India. He's from India. And I was brainstorming with him, and he said, Kitabi Kida. And I was like, hang on a minute. That sounds nice.
Yeah.
Let's remove the Kira part of it, keep the Kitabi in it, right?
Okay.
Within, I think, 10 minutes, my .com was taken. I had one of my friends who used to help me with the Holy Month set up my whole website, had the whole plan written down. And 30 minutes later, when I got a call from the journalist, from the newspaper reporter, I gave her the whole story. And I was just thinking after, like, what exactly happened? An hour later, I get a call from somebody else saying that I've just spoken to a university. I got a call from another friend of mine, and he said, I've spoken to a college in Dubai, and we're going to do a book drive. And I was like, oh my God, what is happening? Then I get a call from somebody in Pakistan saying, we're looking for books. Are you willing to partner with us? And I was like, it hasn't even been 24 hours since I put this up.
Yeah.
It's not even been like 2 hours since I put this up. And the whole plan was laid out for me. It took me 1 year to set it up. Not to set it up, I would say it took me about a week to set up the whole thing, but I worked really hard on that. During that time, I came across somebody who was doing a course on strategic visioning. His name is Yamin, something, I'm forgetting his last name, but he runs an organization called Time Lenders. So one of my friends then got in touch with me and said, I would like you to attend the Time Lenders workshop. And I was like, okay. So I went ahead and attended that, and it gave me such a crazy buzz in my head. And when your brain activity reaches to a maximum level and you see everything around you shift, that particular
maximum, it never actually, it never goes to a maximum.
No, it doesn't.
To a high level.
Of course, it
doesn't. High level. Yeah, to a high level.
When you feel that it's gone to that capacity where you feel that you can explode, that's your maximum at that time, your personal maximum, not the brain maximum, right? And the only thing that I picked up from that course, it was a 5-day workshop, was strategic visioning. Thinking strategically to make sure that whatever you do in this world, create models that will last even after you die, and people will benefit from it. So I kind of like sighed, and I said, okay, yes, I'm going on the right track. And I was very happy that actually somebody else went and said, yes, you're doing a good job, right? And it was crazy that I still remember that evening when the whole course finished. Everybody who was in that, they said, you're a very different person. You're like highly buzzed right now. There's something going on with you. I don't know if people will believe me or not, but I'm still going to say it. 3 of my chargers died that night. From the time that conference ended till the time I got home, my laptop died, my MacBook died, my iPhone died, and I had a Samsung. They all died. Even though they were plugged in, I saw the batteries drop. The battery levels drop down from 70 to 17 in a split second. I had 3 accidents that night because I was not able to contain the energies that were flowing within me. It was weird. It was the most crazy.
You know what, Maha? I actually believe in one thing. I don't know whether people would consider me crazy or not. There are certain things which are in us, in humans, which we do not know how to control. We do not even know we are not technologically advanced enough to understand.
Yeah.
So that could be something like that, because obviously there was a world before Wi-Fi, there was a world before electricity and all this thing. The pyramids were made. They must have been made in a certain way. People used to communicate even during those days. There must have been one way, because if you look at the pyramids, the smaller pyramids, the bigger pyramids, the shapes are all the same, even though they are at the other side of the world. There must have been something which was connecting people.
Of course.
So there is certain things. There is certain things which are very high energy.
Very, very high energy. And I don't know if you will watch this video afterwards. I feel the buzz right now in me. And I know that my voice has changed. My whole energy has changed. My
can you see my expressions?
Yes, I'm getting.
Can you see my expressions? Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So English for Canada, the page itself was initially called Learn English with Maha. I started that about I don't know, like 6-7 years ago. And I used to put up random videos because I wanted to eventually teach and reach out to the maximum number of people. But I changed the name to English for Canada just about less than a couple of months ago. And this is something that, like I said, I've always had that need in me to give out and give back to the community, whoever it is, no matter where they are, what their mindset is, what they're thinking, what they're going to say, just give back and create that possibility of an opportunity in their lives where even a small action that they do, a small action, whether it is to say salam to your neighbors or it is to say hi to somebody, whatever it is, some change comes from my side. How to communicate effectively on social media, how to maintain your your morals and your values, and being ethical on social media, everything is linked somehow or the other. And hopefully people can pick it up. Being on social media, being a female, I am obviously bombarded with craziness that comes my way, but my only goal is
that's very unfortunate. And I actually understand being a female is not that easy in this day and age. I mean, where there's so many crazy people, and social media has actually, a person who's actually on social media, I mean, the type of, I mean, it's just like social media is just like actually being on the street. So yeah, I do understand that.
But alhamdulillah, for me, because I've been on it for so long, the people who do come and watch me, they know that, okay, on this page, we can't do certain things. So I know I've created that change, and I will continue doing that. And I've got Omer waiting patiently. Can I bring him up if you're okay with that?
Yeah, and I mean, I have to go because my wife just came in and actually told me that she's made seher for me. So yeah,
you can
I'll
say
come
hi
some other time. Hi.
Hello.
So I'll have to leave. Hello, I'll have to leave, and inshallah we'll have a discussion again, and
Done.
we'll talk from where we actually left. Okay.
We will.
Cheers.
We will.
Cheers.
Have a great evening. Enjoy your seher.
Have a great evening.
All right. Take care. Thank you. Hi, Omer. How are you?
Hi, Maha. How are you doing?
I'm good.
It was
Welcome
an interesting
back to
discussion with. It was interesting discussion with Tusi. I really enjoyed it. Holimat.com aspect and everything.
I saw you smiling.
So,
Thank you.
Yeah. How was the toy ride thing? The event where
The toy drive?
toys and everything. Yeah.
It started. It's going to end on the 25th. So anybody who is in Mississauga, where are you based, Omer? You're not in Canada, right?
No. I was just asking because you posted it, so I was just asking.
Yes. So it's one of my friends, Aryan, who had started this. He runs a couple of restaurants here, and every year in Ramadan, he has a sehri and a toy drive. So what happens is everybody from the community gets together. We bring in our own raw food. So whether it is, chana, parathas, whatever, and we cook over there. So he's got a whole setup of the stoves and everything outside the restaurant. And the only criteria is bring your own food, cook it, and bring a toy with you. So about 500 to 1,000 people joined that. But because of the corona, the pandemic going on and all that stuff, so obviously we're not having the sehri anymore, but we're having the toy drive. So anybody who is living in Mississauga or in Toronto and they want to drop off a brand new toy, so it can, we do have people that are in need even in Canada, right? There are a lot of children who live in the shelter homes. They're not with their parents. There's a lot of issues over here. Not as much as in Pakistan, but it's a different dynamics over here. So people come and drop off their toys. So that's going on. I think they've collected quite a lot of toys. I should be making my donation very well once I'm ready to go to a store, or maybe I'll just send them money and go like, okay, that's easy from my side.
Right. No, I was about to ask like which toy you gave, so that's why. But I guess you just give the EP.
Yeah, we do give toys because the children are aged between 3 to 17. So, somebody can give them as small as whatever they want. They can give them doll houses, they can give them a pack of cars, the toy cars, whatever it is, coloring pencils, whatever you can think of that you want to give a child, as long as it's brand new and it's not wrapped. So it has to be unwrapped and brand new because we want to make sure they're brand new toys, and not damaged. So that's what's happening. Okay. So what's new? Can you remind me what city you have tuned in from, Omer?
I live in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia.
Yes. Okay. Okay. And what do you do?
I'm a marketing professional.
Okay.
I work for a company. I'm the marketing manager for Toshiba, Sharp, and Electrolux, Bosch, electronic
I
brands.
got it. Got it. Yes. I do have a goldfish memory, so sometimes I forget, but that's why I did ask as a quick
No, no,
reminder.
it's fine. It's fine. I just joined, I think, few weeks back, only one time. So
Yes.
yeah,
So
yeah.
how's the last 1 week of Ramadan in Saudi Arabia right now?
It's going all right. They are going to start a 24-hour lockdown on the Eid for a full 5 days. So even the grocery shops, the restaurants, everything will be closed. So
So
even if, yeah,
starting Eve, they're gonna have a lockdown.
yeah, from first Shawwal, yeah, for the
Oh,
next 5 days, 1 to
right.
5 Shawwal, there will be 24-hour lockdown. So
Okay.
nothing will be open, and they have told us to keep all the grocery at home, water, whatever. Even
Right.
the restaurants are closed, so no delivery apps working, nothing like that.
Okay. 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 Well,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, nothing seems to be changing much, right?
Yeah, yeah. But they haven't told us that what's going to happen after this lockdown. And
Right.
lots of people are guessing that maybe the offices will come back on and everything
Right.
will be normal. Yeah,
Mhm.
but we will
Yeah,
know.
it's a situation that we have never faced before, right? It's a situation that even
Yeah,
our parents didn't face.
yeah,
The grandparents, some of us, but then
maybe.
most of the grandparents
Yeah,
are not alive anymore, so we can't even ask
yeah,
them what happened, what to do, right? So
true,
nobody
true.
really knows. Like even in Canada, they've been saying that the schools might open in May, then they said they might open mid-May, then they said maybe June, and now they just finally gave
Mm,
a decision saying schools are not opening in June at all. Maybe we'll
right,
them in September, but we don't know how it's going to be.
right,
So
right.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's
But
a
how
very
is the curve? Is it getting flat in Canada or not yet?
it is,
Yeah.
but then something happens and the
Okay.
numbers rise again. So we've had the flats in the curve for a while, but again,
Okay.
as people go out, more people are infected. I'm not really sure. Like I fail to understand what's
Mm,
happening. Is it a conspiracy? Is it the world
mm,
taking a shit? I have no clue anymore. So I've literally given
yeah.
up, and I'm just like, okay, you know what? I'm home. I'm gonna enjoy it.
Yeah, actually, frankly, you asked me this question. Otherwise, normally I don't follow the news at all, and I have absolutely no idea what's happening. And I'm just focusing on my things and, just trying to have a calm, peaceful life at home, and yeah, just looking at other things except whatever is happening, you know.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. That's pretty much about it. So your Hollymont.com actually reminded me of a campaign I did
Uh-huh.
for Samsung when I was working for Samsung. So normally they used to ask that in Ramadan what kind of promotion we used to do,
Okay.
because normally people are just buying the grocery and they're not really focusing on the electronic products. Okay. So
Right.
there was a promotion I did and it got very successful.
Mm-hmm.
What I did actually is that people can replace their old electronic products with the new one. So they
Okay.
can bring the old electronic product to us and we will replace it with the new product to them.
Okay.
Okay. But what we are doing is that we took that old product,
Mm-hmm.
refurbish it, and
Mm-hmm.
then we give it to the poor people. So we had a connection with the charity.
Right.
Okay. So our sales increased, and at the same time we had a lot of PR in the market because Ramadan is all about giving charity.
Yes.
So we did give too much charity, and at the same time our sales increased as well.
That's
So
great. And
it
do you guys
was
still do it?
sorry.
Do you still do that? Is that campaign still running?
Samsung did it for 2 consecutive years. Okay, but
Okay.
then I moved to LG Electronics, so I don't know if they did it or not. But
Right.
the campaign was quite successful, and like people really loved it. So as
Mhm.
long as we do a lot of charity and at the same time try to help people because that's the main purpose of Ramadan, to take care of the poor people, then it's gonna be fine.
Of
So your
course.
Holy Month campaign actually reminded me of that.
Yeah, I actually missed the Holy Month campaign a lot because
Yeah.
I did it for so many years, and it became part of
Mm.
my lifestyle. That when I came
Mm.
to Canada, I missed it a lot, and Holy Month had
Mm.
also expanded to Pakistan. We did that in
Mm.
Pakistan as well for a couple of years. So it was based out of Dubai, but I had my
Mm.
network spread out in Pakistan. So we did it once in Lahore and twice in Karachi. So
Okay.
that's we did, and that's one of the most I would say, if somebody ever questions me and say, what do you miss most about being in Dubai, I say this
Mm.
is Holy Month and my kitabi is what I miss most about being there, because it was so
Mm.
easy to approach people, to reach those people,
Mm.
to find those people,
Yeah.
so many of
Yeah.
them, especially the
Yeah.
construction workers. And we
Okay.
all know the situation that they're in back there.
Yes.
And we
Yeah.
didn't give them an iftar.
Mm.
I had a very different concept. I did not want to give them pakoras or biryanis
Mm.
because the masjid
Mm.
already do that. So
Okay.
our pack had an apple, it had an orange, it had a pack of biscuits, it had chips, Oman chips, it had a bar of chocolate, and it had a juice pack and a milk pack. So we had 7 items for 5 dirhams, and these are
Okay.
things that these people cannot afford to buy, or maybe they can
Mm.
afford to buy, but they'd rather not buy.
Mm.
So
Right.
after iftar, they used to have their iftar at the masjid or get the biryanis and the harissa and everything, right? So from iftar to sahur, the snack pack that we gave them helped them survive. So,
Cool.
late at night, they could have an apple. For Sahib, they
Yeah.
could have orange. They could dip the
Yeah.
biscuits in the tea. So it was
Yeah.
those kind of things. And obviously, they can't go
That's
buy
nice.
Kit Kat every day or Galaxy
Mm.
chocolate every day. Or they can't buy
Yeah,
milk every
that's
day.
true.
Or
Yeah,
even
that's
chips,
true. Yeah.
So everybody
That's
questioned me.
nice.
They said, "You're not really doing an iftar." I said, "No, I'm not doing iftar because there's somebody else doing iftar. So let them do the iftar they're
Yeah.
doing. Let me compensate them somehow, or give them
Yeah.
something else instead."
Yeah.
And we used to repeat our labor camps, and I remember the people over there used to tell me that they're saving the biscuits, the pack of
Yeah.
biscuits, and the chips. They
Mm.
used to save them so that after a
Mm.
month or 2 months, if they were visiting back home, India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, whatever, they would take those biscuits with them.
Okay,
And
that's nice. As a
yeah, so
memory.
as a memory, and then to give it to their children or to the people
Children.
in.
That's so
So it
nice
was
of them. That's quite cute actually. Yeah. Yeah.
it was
That's
very
nice.
cute. Yeah, so the
Yeah.
Holy
Yeah.
page is still active on Facebook. You can go and see. There's a lot of activities that happened. It was good.
Mm.
Okay, I've got Arsalan over here, so I'm going to bring him on. Hello, Arsalan.
Sure.
Hello, ma'am. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam. How are you?
I'm alhamdulillah fine. You?
Great, thank you very much. I don't see your video, Arsalan.
I don't know what is happening.
Okay, so can you please exit the StreamYard and then allow the StreamYard to access your camera and then come back on, okay?
Okay, ma'am.
All right, thank you very much. Okay.
So how about Kitabi? Kitabi is still working in Pakistan?
Yes, Kitabi is working in Pakistan. Not as much as it used to be when I was there, of course. So right now, when I was in Dubai, we used to have at least 3 setups a month, 2 to 3 setups a month. I would fly down, do the setups, and come back. But ever since I've come here, now it's kind of like 1 setup every 2 months.
Okay.
And because of coronavirus, of course, we can't be giving out books anymore.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it has
So
to
these
be-
are the books for charity, basically. What's the concept behind Kitabi?
Kitabi, the concept behind it is basically bringing back the reading culture and
Okay.
spreading the love of books to anybody
Okay.
who wants to read or who doesn't want to read, but then showing them that the reading will take you somewhere. So what used
Okay.
to happen was that there was no donations collected for this. Nobody used to give us any sort of funds. But if somebody wanted a school, for instance, so what I would do was I would identify any charity schools, welfare-run schools, government schools, then get in touch with them and ask them if they had a library. If they didn't have a library, which most of them, of course, did not, because library concept, they're like, why have a library in a school, right? They have other things to take care of. So then I would collect books for them and donate it to them. And then as I
Okay.
donated the books, I had a lot of Pakistani celebrities who also joined hands with me. I had about
Nice.
30 of them as my ambassadors. So they would
Hmm.
also come and attend my events. You're
Hmm.
from originally from Pakistan, right?
Yeah, Lahore.
So yes. So you know Asad Malik, the actor?
I've heard the name.
Okay, so
I've
you
heard
can
the
Google
name.
him up.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
yes, he is one of my main ambassadors. Then
Okay.
I have Myra Khan, who's my sister. She's also an
Okay.
ambassador. And I have
Okay.
Tour Nafi, who's an ambassador. I have Agha Shiraz, who's an ambassador. I also
Okay.
have Waqar Zaka.
Yeah,
He's a
yeah.
big
Heard the
supporter.
name.
Yes, Waqar
Yeah.
Zaka is a big supporter of
Yeah.
Kitabi as well, and he's always
By the way,
supported.
I kinda like Wakar. Most of the people talk wrong about him, but I
Right.
always felt that he's a good person. At least for
He's
me.
an amazing person.
Yeah.
Vakar is an
Yeah.
amazing person. I got in touch with him when I was starting off Kitabi. And, I was looking
Hmm.
for one person. I had my whole group of celebrities anyways, but I was looking for one
Hmm.
person, who would
Hmm.
just explode Kitabi, right? So I
Okay.
called up Vakar, I gave him my history, and I said, this is who I am. We've never spoken before. Can you please? Without
Hmm.
any conditions, he said yes. And he helped
Hmm.
Kitabi a lot. I'm going to bring a friend of mine from India. He's the guy that
Sure.
I brainstormed with, um, and he helped me come up with the name Kitabi.
Hello.
Jami Moore, yes,
Hello.
Vakar. I'll give you the details. Hi, Sid, how are you?
Assalamu alaikum. I'm good. How are you?
Walaikum assalam. I'm good, alhamdulillah. Please meet Umair.
Hi,
Hi,
Umair.
Sid. How are you?
Zain Alhamdulillah. How are you?
Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah.
Okay, so
Nice to
Sid is
know
the
that
guy
you
that I.
got the name Kitabi from him. Yeah.
No,
Well, he suggested
no, I
Kitabi.
mean, she gives me too much credit, but I don't think in reality. I think she already had a mind set up on Kitabi. We just discussed it and, it just went forward from there.
She was just looking for an acknowledgement from someone, maybe.
I think that's more of what it was. I don't think I recommended or I just reiterated what she was trying to put forward. But yeah, I had very little to do with that name or the venture itself. I just kind of
No,
reaffirmed her beliefs.
we were on the call together, and then when we came up with this name, it was you and I discussing it, right? So obviously, I'm going to give you
Yeah,
the credit for it. I'm a true Pakistani, Sid. You know that.
yeah, that you are.
Thank you. So how's
But
it
yeah,
going?
it's great. I mean, most of what we do right now like especially the industry that I'm associated with is kind of on a back burner right now because obviously the casinos and the social distancing is not really going to be working at this time of the situation that we currently face. But yeah, so a lot of businesses that we were doing earlier have pivoted to the online format.
Hmm.
So yeah, so it's basically a lot of people are realizing that they really didn't need offices all this while because a lot of what can be done now was a resource spend earlier. You had to invest in offices and this and that, the other. I don't think our productivity has gone down as much,
Hmm.
but I think we've just found
Hmm.
new ways to work
So
or
what
make it
exactly
work,
is it
rather.
that you do, Sid? Would you like to tell everybody? Because you're in a very interesting business.
Um, so I'm into broadcasting of poker tournaments specifically. So our
Awesome.
business was largely concentrated in the casinos that are in Goa. Goa is the only state where you have legit legal casinos. And we used
Okay.
to broadcast international poker events out of these casinos. And ever since the COVID hit, all the casinos were shut down because obviously they don't want the strong influx of
Yeah.
people coming in and socializing
Yeah.
at a large scale. So our entire thing, we're basically creating poker content specific to poker, has pivoted to online. So we started up a league start of this year, but now we've pivoted it to an online format because obviously live scenarios won't work given the current
Yeah.
climate.
I
How's the
think
restaurant going?
Again, the restaurant was very short lived.
Right.
It was great while it lasted. In Goa, again, especially is being in Goa and setting up a business in Goa is very seasonal because Goa operates only 6 months of the year. And for the other 6 months is when the business is. But now with the 6 months gone out of our roster, there's not much. So we pivoted it to deliveries rather than serving people within our restaurants. So yeah, I mean, there are a lot of changes that have happened, and frankly speaking, I mean, we are coming to realize that businesses could have been done differently. I think there was a lot of waste happening. We were taking a lot more things for granted earlier. Now that those resources have been taken away, I think people will learn to be a lot more innovative with their limited resources and make them work, I feel.
Yeah.
We have
And
somebody
Lean Six
smiling
Sigma.
on the screen.
Yeah.
Welcome back.
Yeah, thank you. And work like what I do is gonna become easier because people would be able to relate to it. I'm into change management and I'm into Lean Six Sigma. So you just mentioned a lot of things which we waste, and I've been actually screaming and saying that thing all along. And to me, actually, the wastage element within our system is criminal. It's criminally bad. It's criminally bad. Yeah.
So no, even if even if you look at the resource allocation that was happening earlier, like there were a lot of resources that were allocated for the sake of allocation because people were too lazy to handle their own affairs. Things like having a PA, a personal assistant, and whatnot. I think COVID is a good wake-up call for businesses that need to be a lot more proactive. They're higher ups, and I'm talking strictly from the point of the upper management. The upper management used to be too lethargic, and they would pass the buck down to the lower hierarchy. And I think that has been eliminated because now I think accountability has become a lot more.
Yes,
I think
and
if you want to hold your job, you have to be a lot more accountable for each and every cent and each and every dollar that you make.
And it's actually proven that the people who are actually working at the front line are the real people. There are loads and loads of management layers which actually were meaningless anyways.
Yes, so I think COVID is actually eliminated those layers, and I think it's crystallized the process of. I think people such as investors now, we just had a business which is a startup, right? So startup, we are accountable to our investors, to our board of directors, and whatnot, right? So earlier it was basically startups are given a lot of money, right? And it's the allocation of those funds which get misappropriated if you're in a startup. And I think COVID was a really, really good thing. So in a lot of respects, I think COVID did a lot good than bad. Obviously, I condone people dying, and there's a lot of unnecessary death, and it's also due to sheer negligence of people not maintaining social distancing, not maintaining the norm that should be followed at this point, and people are dying out of sheer stupidity, if I may say it so bluntly. Like Goa was a green zone up until 4 days ago, and then they eased off on the curfews and whatnot, and people were flocking up on the streets. And today we've gotten back to the orange zone where we've got 36 new cases, and it's out of sheer stupidity that people are curbing their own movement. And it's got, I think I largely attribute this to misinformed people making rash decisions based on, again, like you said earlier in I was listening to you talk just before you left, and this has largely got to do with the news. There's a lot of news that's been circulated that, oh yes, it's safe, and obviously the state politicians and all, they're in a tough jam right now because it's either you let people die from COVID or you let your economy die. So I think they're choosing the latter. They're choosing the latter, wherein they're opening up the economy at the expense of people dying, right?
The people, and 0.5% of India is much more than 0.5% of Pakistan in terms of people.
Exactly. That's a huge number to contend with.
That's a huge number.
And but I think this new thing that we've found will become the norm. I think more and more people
Yeah,
will work
we're
from
gonna
home.
we're gonna reach a new normal. We're gonna reach a new
You know,
normal.
so
Yeah.
we're gonna have less pollution because people are not traveling. Like, look at Delhi for now. You know, Delhi has not
It's
seen
clear. Lahore is clear.
clearer skies in
Yeah,
for as long
that's
as
right.
I can remember. You know, Delhi's cleared
It's
up.
like
There's
the Earth went into the cleansing mode. Normally
right. The
people are saying,
ozone layer is
yeah,
fixing itself.
the ozone layer
So
is
I
fixing
think
Right.
itself. Yeah.
so. I don't think COVID is the virus. I think we are the virus.
I don't
We are
think
the
the
ones.
We have
ozone layer.
actually
I'm
we've
so
done a
sorry.
lot to this country.
Sorry, I don't know. Can the ozone layer fix itself within a week?
I think no,
No,
it's
it
not
didn't happen
weak.
within a week. It's been months.
It's been 2 months. It's been 2-3 months, and I think
2 months.
It's been
I
3
don't think
months. Yeah.
it's completely fixed, but I think it's a move in the right direction. I think
It's a move.
we've
in the right
taken
direction.
NASA.
we've taken the Earth.
No, I think it's NASA just again throwing these things at us, saying, "Oh, the ozone layer is getting fixed." It cannot get fixed within a month or 2 months because
No,
they
but
wanted to stay. They wanted
Maha,
to.
if you look at the weather change, if you look at the weather change that's happening now, all the big industrial outfits, the factories, the production units, they've all come to a standstill, right? So there's less pollution. We are contaminating the earth a lot less, which means that now it has time to breathe and heal. Now,
Right.
obviously, it's not going to happen
Maha,
overnight.
come to
I
Lahore,
don't-
you'll see the difference. Come to Lahore,
you know,
just
know,
like the transport,
exactly.
like Star Trek,
So
and you'll actually see the difference.
you know, I think
Yeah.
so. I think more than COVID needing treatment, I think we need the treatment. We need the treatment to behave and to understand how this world works and respect, the things that we've been taking for granted since the time we were born. You know, the
Yeah.
sheer
That's right.
wastage, the plastics and whatnot.
Yes.
I mean, it's just wasteful. I think
Yeah.
out of COVID, I think we will become better human beings. If
Hopefully.
there is anything else, if there's anything else to take away from this,
Hopefully.
I think
Yeah,
we should.
hopefully.
And if you don't become better human beings, I think we should cease to exist. I think we have no right to claim any sort of ownership on planet Earth. I frankly feel.
We should also start taking people seriously. Build on our relationships, things like that.
Yeah, because a lot of things have actually popped up about 5G. Everything is happening because of 5G.
Right.
I mean, there's so many weird type of
Conspiracy theories.
conspiracy theories
Yeah.
which are coming up.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
personally
that's
know
true.
some people who've developed that technology, and that the
Yeah.
whole thing is not true. That's what they've told me,
Yeah.
and they're credible people. I mean,
Right.
you just attributed something weird. Next day, someone takes away the what do you call it? The Wi-Fi things in front of a hospital in England, and they steal it because they think it's 5G, and the hospital can't function because they don't have communication left. So all type of
Can you-
stupid things have started happening. I mean, I'm talking
but-
about England. I'm not talking about India. I'm not talking about Pakistan. I'm not even talking about Canada. I'm talking about England. That's already happened.
Yeah.
Some fine
this-
stupid person actually decided to just take a communication thing off in front of a hospital.
Yeah.
Who are
But in the
actually treating?
hindsight, I mean, come to think of it, before the whole COVID thing happened, I would not watch the news because it was so depressing, right? Because there's wars going on everywhere. There's people dying because somebody has a bigger gun than the other, and I think once we get out of COVID, I think wars would be very insignificant, and I think politicians would have to rally really hard to go to war with another country, because it's just sheer stupidity. I think we've got bigger, larger, more graver issues to handle than to control who controls the oil pipeline.
Well, I've actually heard something. I have some friends who are defense subcontractors in America. They say the war drums have even started. They've already started. They were waiting for
What
things
has-
to settle down.
What has started to see? The war?
The war drums.
The war drums. Okay.
I mean, I'm talking about
Okay.
defense subcontractors in America.
Right.
Okay. Okay.
Well, this is Third World War, if you look at it,
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I believe that we're living through it anyway since a long time.
Right.
Because world wars is a series of war. It's not a one war.
Mhm.
So it could be that we're just living through it.
Right.
Time will tell. There's so many wars going on in the last 20 years.
No, I think
Yeah.
they seem pretty significant to what's happening right now. I mean, because now I think what COVID has done, it's evened out the playing field. It's no longer that, you know, you have more immunity because you're an American and I have less immunity because I'm from Syria or if I'm from Israel.
Yeah.
We all are the same. We all have the same problems. We have the same immunity issues. We have the same enemy that we are fighting right now. I think it's unified, and we'd be really stupid if we ignore, you know, that a disease like COVID has brought us all together as human beings, and it would be shameful for us to basically disregard this and continue about our, you know, our old ways as we were post COVID. I think.
Yeah, let's hope we all become better people. That's the
I
most
sincerely
important.
hope and pray that we do.
Let's hope for the
Do you
best,
think
I
people?
guess.
Yeah. Do you think people living in Pakistan and India, their immune systems are much stronger than the people living in the West?
Yeah, Lakkad Hazam, Pattar Hazam. We I think we are very good with.
Definitely,
Yeah,
they
but
have
no,
more.
we're
you
not-
know what?
we
That
don't
BCG
have-
thing, that BCG thing, it's
Huh.
not valid. That BCG rumor
No?
which came in. I had BCG. I had BCG as a child, and I had it in England.
Right.
Till 2005, they
Okay.
used to give BCG in England.
यार ये आधी से ज्यादा तो इन लोगों की जो बीमारियां हैं वो इन लोगों ने खुद अपनी बनाई
This is English or Canada. This is English or Canada. We only do English here, Sid.
Okay.
I can't do basic. I'm pretty articulate in my English, but I just feel that.
Okay, go ahead.
It's the
I'll allow
DC
you.
that
Go ahead.
kind of pops out. No, I mean, I'm
Let's
just.
do
I'm
this.
just- I'm- no, I mean, I could do the English bit. It's just that, you know, a lot of, and I'm not totally negating, you know, a lot of diseases or conditions that happen out in the West that are not are genuine, but giving a 13-year-old an Adderall as a study aid. I mean, India mein chittar padte the if you don't get marks. You know, you don't perform well in school. Hamare chapne padti thi. You know, parents don't give Adderalls to their kids; they give chittars. You know, and I think the West should fucking take from that. And you know, the whole point of, oh no, he's got ADHD and he's got this and that, the other. No, you're just being too lazy to concentrate and spend more time with your kids and educating them. You know, I think it's a quick fix for everything in the West, and I think it's biting them in the ass for it.
Okay.
You know, chittar
That's
maro.
that's tomato, exactly.
Yeah.
But over
Being
here,
being on the receiving end of actually beating, I don't like that concept.
No.
I've been as a child. I've
I'm
been
not
at the
saying that
receiving end.
the parent had to be abusive, but I'm saying that the kind of leniency that is practiced in the West.
Yeah, now,
and,
yeah.
You know, I'm 42. I'm not married. I don't have kids. I never plan to get married because I don't see the point of bringing another human being into this god-forsaken planet. That when there's millions and millions of homeless kids, orphans who are out there who need good homes. I don't see the need to procreate at this point in my life. You know, but at the same time, love and discipline can be instilled in other ways than, you know, reverting to pharma for everything. Pharma is not the answer to everything. And I think most of the wars that are built into the world are because of defense and pharma. And these are the two key points. Like, more people have died from cigarettes than marijuana, but because marijuana does not serve the greater good of the people in the pharma industry, cigarettes are okay to go on when there's clearly studies that have statistically shown. And now they've woken up to the fact that, oh yes, marijuana and hemp is good for you. It's also treatment.
Medical cannabis.
If everyone smokes marijuana, if everyone smokes marijuana, there won't be wars.
Medical cannabis. Dude,
I think Canada is one of the first countries, by the way.
Everyone's going to be eating jalebis post a UN meeting. You know, everyone's going to be like, yeah, rabdi and jalebi leke aa jao. Let's just resolve this peacefully. Everyone's going to be talking to, you know, let's bring the big guns out. I think Donald Trump needs to eat jalebi.
Yeah, I think technology has had a huge role to play in, you know, marijuana becoming so legal and okay, because back in the day, I mean, people have been smoking it for like, hundreds and hundreds of years. But now, because everything is like social media technology and it's like so out there in the open, there's so much research that's available on Google. So I think Google's kind of played a very big part on it becoming legalized, and for people to know that, it has medicinal properties, and it helps you in certain ways as well. And it's good for your health as compared to smoking up a cigarette, because it's
Yeah.
raw form,
Yeah.
right?
Yes, herbs.
So,
It's herbs.
It's
amount of
also
carcinogens-
mainly
the amount of
the
carcinogens that are there in a cigarette. And I'm an avid smoker, right? But the amount of carcinogens that are there in a cigarette are just like if you look at the chemical makeup of a cigarette, you won't smoke it again. I mean, if you think about it, but yet it's been propagated, yet nobody fights about it because it serves the big, B&H companies, like.
yeah.
yeah.
So we are a selfish race. And I think, and my biggest fear is that after post-COVID, we will go back to our old ways.
Yeah, we will, because everybody wants to make money at the end of the day, right? So why are they going to
Yeah.
mend their ways and become all humanitarian when they know
Sustainability, I think that's
money?
the sustainability would be the key going into the future. I think less wastage, more sustainability. And if we don't take it away from our learnings here, where we are surviving on bare minimum, like we are the fortunate few, right? You're sitting in Jeddah, you're in Pakistan, you're in Canada, I'm in Goa. We lead a very fortunate life, but there are millions upon millions of people who do not know where the next meal is coming from, and they don't know how to procure it because these are daily wage earners who are not earning anymore. They don't
Yeah.
have. They don't know where this next source of income is coming in from to feed the bellies of obviously themselves and their kids,
And their family. Yeah.
and their families. So people have learned over the last 3 months to survive on a minimum, not because they don't have money, but because shops are shut. You can't go anywhere.
Yeah.
You can't go to your neighborhood deli and order a nice little crispy bacon sandwich. You can't. You just can't anymore. So a lot has changed. People have realized that, okay, fine, I can do without the McDonald's. I can do without, the Nando's. And it's sad to
Starbucks,
hear that
yeah.
Nando's and Starbucks, and it's sad to
Yeah.
hear that Nando's is going to be shutting down.
Oh, not in
Yeah.
Canada. Not in Canada. The lineups at the McDonald's drive-through are 45 minutes long.
Wow.
Whoa.
McDonald's.
Wow, I'm serious.
McDonald's is one of the worst meals possible.
And that's what people are doing. Uber Eats
It's not even
Yeah.
proper food.
is going crazy. People are ordering in every single night because they don't know what else to do. So for them to feel normal, they want to be, they want to order in and still eat from the restaurants that they normally do, so they can feel that they're still living a life and being normal. I mean, I think the last time I ordered in food was like a month ago, or maybe 2 months ago. I don't even remember. So there's a lot of changes, obviously, that we have brought, within ourselves, in the life that we're living and how we're doing things. So how have things, Omer, changed for you?
Things pretty much things in Saudi Arabia are changed a lot, by the way, because we are working from home now, and also the restaurants are mainly closed here in Saudi Arabia. So normally everything is coming through online applications and everything. And I myself, I got ill in the middle also, and I got like locked in a room for 22, 23 days myself, So I went through the whole cycle and everything. So I know that situation in all the countries, including Saudi Arabia, is not that good. Every day the cases are increasing, and it's more than 2,000 cases every day. We are
Right.
almost crossing 50,000. So that's why it's a big change. And at the same time, offices, they are thinking now that they have to work from home, and they don't need to call people in the office, and all these kind of things are happening. But I have a question from Sid or Tusi, maybe any one of them, or maybe you can answer. See, everybody is focusing on the companies that, okay, they are reducing the waste, they are reducing the management and everything. But how about the end user? Because the end user is also not shopping like before. Okay, so
Maybe
even
the
you
end
are
user.
reducing your waste, yeah, even you are
See,
reducing the waste or everything. See, I myself is in marketing, so okay, our online sales have increased, but our overall yearly targets or quarterly targets have been reduced, because people are no more going to the shop, having the real experience, the human interaction, and everything is not happening. The whole concept of marketing through outdoor billboards or newspapers has been gone now. So, how do you address that, Sid or Tusi or Yamaha, anyone?
Josie, do you want to take that question or?
Well, I'm not sure whether I actually understood that question properly, because
All right.
what
So
we were saying it from the context of actually the way the management is set internally. When we're talking about the end user, that's actually
Yeah.
it's a different dynamic. And I would say that we are organizations, all of us in an organization are we are supposed to be creating value for the end user. And if we're not creating it for the end user, we shouldn't be there. We shouldn't do it. Simple. Anything which is not creating, there has to be a reason why it's there.
I also think that from the consumer standpoint, I think we've led the whole the culture of consumerism, and we've taken our carbon footprint so high because we've been buying things that we don't need. So you're talking about electronics, the emissions that come out of the electronic appliances such as air conditioning and refrigerators like the Freons and whatnot. They're not exactly productive to our health. Even microwaves for that instance. तवे पे गरम कर
Exactly,
लो
you're
यार
right.
रोटियां
You're right.
तवे पे गरम
I
कर लो.
know.
I mean, you don't need a bloody microwave for it, right? It's based on radiations. It's based on microwaves. I'm not so. I'm all for technology. I'm all for convenience. What technology has done is it's made things convenient for us. पहले हाथ से कपड़े धोते थे. Now we're basically doing it with washing machines, right? पहले हाथ से बर्तन धोते थे. Now we've got dishwashers. But the amount of wastage that's there in any of these appliances increases our footprint, our carbon footprint.
So
And I think going
Actually, मेरा
forward, I
question
think
थोड़ा सा different था.
हाँ जी.
Maybe I'll try to say it again. देखिए, हर कंपनी का अपना एक टारगेट होता है. Okay, yearly target होता है, quarterly target होता है versus the last year, right? But that target,
English
okay,
only.
yeah,
English only.
okay,
English
yeah.
or Canada, not Urdu or Canada.
All right, English for Canada. So
You have to
yeah,
figure out a way to
we'll create a
make them
WhatsApp group, and we can
all
have
right.
an Urdu conversation.
Yeah, no problems.
Yeah.
So every company has their yearly target versus the last year or the forecasting, right? So they are based on the customers going to the retail to have an experience, the human interaction, to experience the product, no matter whatever product it is, right? So that interface is now that customer journey in the middle is cut down. Okay, no matter at the end of the day, any company with waste or without waste, they have to look at their net profit. Okay, whether they are having a profit or not, right? Okay, you are cutting down your waste, but the customer is also reducing the
No,
sales
so
interaction is
that means
happening
you should
less.
even that means you
So
should be
it
even
it
cutting the waste even more, because your
my
yeah.
whole
customer
argument
base
to
is
that
less.
would
Okay, from
be
the
that
global perspective, maybe it is good from the eagle eye view. But how about from the company perspective who are growing? For example, Samsung might not launch more telephones than they used to do, or Huawei, or maybe they don't launch enough models,
no.
something like that.
What you're talking
Yeah.
about is product activation. You're talking about the
Yeah.
activation exercises that are going to happen. But by that
Versus the
accord,
sales or net profit.
no,
Because
that's fine. But
the
again,
waste is,
like
yeah.
if you take that into account and you take into account the history of evolution, whether it's human beings or
Yeah.
shopping, if
Yeah.
that did not, if this interaction was so important, Amazon would not be in existence today.
Yeah.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
So online
I
shopping
understand.
models have come into play because people have realized that it's more convenient to get things delivered to your house than to get into your car with your annoying wife or your annoying husband and the kids at the back, drive up to a mall, look for a parking, pay a ticket, ride up an escalator with stinky people, right?
Yeah.
and then go through the experience of going through a mall, buying your stuff, and then standing for another half an hour at the checkout counter. I think
And buying
and
extra
this-
stuff that you don't need.
and stuff that you don't need, because again, the retail spaces are designed in a specific manner which catches people's attentions, and they psychologically or subliminally they play into your your buying and you end up buying more stuff. So if you
So
go
how
by
about the
evolution,
job loss thing? How about the job loss thing?
it's
Where these people will go?
evolution is inevitable,
You
and
know?
with evolution comes certain sacrifices.
Evolution should be step by step, not like a
You don't have a choice.
day and night
You don't have a
evolution.
choice.
You know?
There is no
Yeah,
don't
I
have a
know.
choice.
Right now there is no choice.
There is no
I
choice.
know.
You're either going to
Yeah.
change, you're going to either sustain, you're going to create value, reduce waste, and actually become more productive, or the companies won't exist, period.
And like Tusi said, Tusi's nailed it on the head. Unless and until companies have to stop selling products and they have to start creating value for the customer. And
Yeah.
only then will you be able to save your jobs. So
Easier said than done, I would say, but I understand what you meant to.
no. It's not about easier said than done.
I'm
already
actually
been
talking about pure
implemented.
capitalism. I'm talking
Yeah.
about pure capitalism, and
Yeah.
because if you can't actually, if you cannot survive, if you can't survive, yeah, it's a matter. It's going to be a matter of survival. For many companies, it's going to be a matter
For the
of survival.
fittest.
And if you can't actually cut your wastages, if you can't cut your unnecessary things, and you're not producing value, you will not sustain anyways.
Not in the long run, anyways.
Not in
Yeah,
the
but
long
the
run.
value has been pushed through nature, through pandemic. The value is not done artificially or organically. It's just been pushed on us, you know. It's not
Yeah, and
like
that's
something we have come out
yeah.
creatively out of it. Yeah, like we're not removing the waste creatively. We are
No, we're
removing
not
the
even
waste
started
because
doing
we
that.
are bound. Yeah, because we are bound
Yeah.
to do it because we don't have a choice. You know.
Yeah.
So that's an
And
unnatural change in the end.
But I think after this,
right?
post this pandemic, post this endemic, I think people are going to be a little more cognizant of the fact that this is how the world should be, rather than the little blindfold that we've been living with all this time.
Okay, if
I
I
think
take the
we've just been
McDonald's case study, yeah, I understand your point. If I take the McDonald's case study in your perspective, then they are not losing their sales. In fact, they have been increasing because they have a brilliant customer service. They have outlets probably every single town. So they are basically the waste which has to go from the society, which is the real waste, which is affecting our health. Obviously, by eating McDonald's, for example, if you say I gave somebody charity with a McDonald's, at the end of the day, it's gonna destroy their immune system. So that real waste which has to go out of the society, that's not going out anyway. The waste is there.
No, it's not.
The companies, the waste is actually learning to give a better customer service online and continue the waste.
I think what you're trying to ask is
You understand?
McDonald's offering value, right? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, I mean, like what Mahak said,
McDonald's is
that they have a long queues and everything.
McDonald's is not offering value. What McDonald's is doing is it's fulfilling our desire for the need that they've created and we've been used to since school, right? So they've got us habituated. McDonald's is exactly like cocaine,
like cigarettes,
right?
Yeah,
like cocaine,
it's as bad as cocaine,
addiction.
as bad as cigarettes, right? It's a
Yeah,
bad
it's an
addiction. But it doesn't mean that they're right in what they're doing, right? Because they're not offering any value. They're offering really, really crappy food for cheap prices, right?
Exactly.
That's all they're doing. So it's no value to mankind. As a matter of fact, people driving up to McDonald's are wasting, they're obviously
fuel.
Driving in their cars. They're wasting fuel. There's a lot more to it. There's a lot more impact to it. So
how about that awareness to people, so that they reduce the waste and such things go down, How about that kind of awareness?
Sooner or later, people will have to be stopped being spoon-fed. I think we've been spoon-fed for too long. I think we rely on other people to tell us what is right and what is wrong. I think it's high time that we realize what's right for us and what's wrong for us, rather than being spoon-fed. So
we also need that balance, right? We need the balance of the good and the bad. We need the balance of
Yeah.
healthy people and unhealthy people. We need the balance
Yeah.
No, but
of
I
stupidity and
honestly think Maha, that post this COVID, I think people are a lot more woke, as it were.
Mhm.
You
Okay,
know,
yeah.
The ones who want to be. Again, the ones who want to be, and the ones who don't want to be won't be, right? So
Yeah.
you
True.
know,
True.
it's
but sadly,
up to
that's
us.
the world that we've born in. That's the world that we've been cultivated with. That's power
True.
of, and again, that's the power of marketing. We've been sold
Yeah.
shit that we don't need because
Brainwashed.
it's been because it was packaged beautifully.
Yeah.
You know, and
Yeah.
that's the first rule of advertising.
Given with
marketing.
tomato ketchup.
You know, yeah, exactly. So that's the first rule of marketing. You know, you package shit beautifully, you'd be able to sell it.
Yeah.
Selling ice to an Eskimo doesn't need the ice, right? But it's a well-known
Yeah.
saying across the world, and it's been there for so
Yeah.
long because it is true. You package anything properly, and you can sell. Like there was a painting that sold with a banana taped to a canvas for about $10 million or
Exactly.
some odd shit amount, right?
Mhm.
That's the
Exactly.
power of persuasive marketing. So I
Yeah.
think marketeers will always exist, but I think it becomes incumbent on the marketeers to market things responsibly. I think it has to be
Yes.
done, which means that the
Yeah.
companies have to offer value to their customers rather than just
Yeah.
sell convenience.
I think responsible value. I believe the product should be responsible in the society.
Yeah,
You
the
know.
big corporates, it's upon
Yeah.
them to take this upon
Yeah.
themselves to take this
Yeah.
responsibly and
True.
shed this whole culture of greed that we
True.
cultivated and lived in for so long.
True. 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 True.
Wow, this is so
Okay.
intense.
Sid, you do poker?
The earlier
You do
part,
play
the earlier
poker?
part, the earlier part was very different when I actually joined.
Yeah, then we had Sid from Goa join, and he's like, okay, you know what? Let's pump it up.
Yeah.
It's going to slow.
No, it's always good to come on Maha's little web streams that you did. I mean, earlier she used to do that on Insta. And I would always create a stir. Coming in and disrupting the system because I love doing that.
That's okay. You're more than welcome to anytime. It was it was a nice surprise to see your name pop up, and I'm like, okay, Sid is here. So were you on the English of Canada or like which?
No, I was actually on your Facebook and I was posting it showed Maha's live on Facebook and then you had sent a link on your Facebook.
Right. Okay.
So I said, okay, let's just go check this out and see what Maha's up to.
I'm always up to the same things. You know me.
Yeah,
You know
and
me.
lo and behold, I've stepped into the dark universe, into the parallel universe of Maha Khan.
I know, which you always do, and it's been a while since you actually came on live with me, right? I think
Yeah,
probably
no, and it's been long. It's been long.
yeah.
Because we've been busy trying to reshape the way we do business.
Right.
And especially since we just got our first round funding it's 6 months ago. I mean, we are in a very precarious spot right now because yes, the funding has been given to us, but I don't know when it's going to be pulled up, right? Because
That question.
like you said, there's a limit, right? In your previous one, before you left the stream, you said there's always a limit, right? We've got staff that we need to pay, and we know we have sustenance power for an X amount of months. But then once we've exhausted those X amount of months, then what?
What's going to
Then
happen?
what happens?
Are you following Eric Ries's lean startup model? Build,
I'm sorry?
measure, learn. Are you following Eric Ries's the lean startup model?
नहीं सर मैं 10वीं फेल हूँ
Sir,
I'm
10th
10th
fail.
dropout.
It doesn't. It's irrelevant. It's irrelevant. You should actually follow it. Eric Ries, lean startup.
I'd love to
Build,
get
measure,
that.
learn.
If you could just message it to Maha or whatever.
Yeah, I'll
I'd
message
love
it to
get
Maha.
that.
I'm connected to Maha. I'll message it to Maha, and then
Sure.
I can actually maybe introduce you to that thing. It's basically 4 startups in which you build value. You build basically, you keep the customer. You keep customer in the loop, in the product development loop. So in that way, you're actually making something what the customer actually wants instead of just making something which you think
So
is right.
that's what we're doing with poker, right? Now a lot of if you go across the world, right? If you look at the world, are you guys familiar with poker? Are you familiar with the
I
online
used to play
sector?
poker. Yeah, that's why I was asking to you. Yeah.
Right. So you're aware of WSOP, which is World Series of Poker. You're aware of WPT, right, which is World Poker Tour. and then there's PokerStars.
Mm-hmm.
Now, all these sites, what they do is they all play money sites, right? Which means
Yeah.
I'll take money from you, right? You come onto my site and you play, and if you win a cash game, yeah, you take it. And the same applies for tournaments. We started a Poker Sports League in about 3 years ago, and
Esports.
we Poker Sports League, right? So, and our model is completely free. You can come in and play for free, and if you win about 2 crore rupees, right? Now, the idea is when we move to the online formula, which just happened recently, and we came up with our app. The idea was not for people just to come in and dump their money onto a poker site. We want to educate people and to play responsibly. So now our model has become educational. We are talking about poker modules. We are talking about poker classes. We are talking about how to play responsibly. Only after you've played responsibility, you've filled in quizzes and you've got little benchmarks, and then we'll suggest you to play for real money, if ever. And our portal is completely non-money based. So unless, and that's the value that we are offering, and that's the value that we offer.
That's actually potentially disrupting. That's potentially disrupting. That's potentially, it's disrupting the notion of poker, because poker, gambling is all based on actually making sure that the person who's your end user is actually bankrupt.
Right. And we basically propagate that don't spend your money till you've learned how to play. And again, to sort of reaffirm my statement here, is poker is a mind sport. It's not gambling. It's never been gambling. I think people approach it,
it's a skill-based game.
It's a skill-based game, right? It's been taught in MIT. It's been taught in Harvard.
Yes.
It's it's been.
It's a part of James Bond.
Not the most credible source, but it's taught. What does poker teach you?
It has a mathematical. If you're really good at mathematics,
more than mathematics, it teaches you patience. It teaches you how to read people who are who you're playing against. So you get better read on people. So you become.
And there's actually a term called poker face.
Yes,
there's a term called poker face.
It's widely used in entrepreneurship, by the way. Yeah.
No, and poker face is used when you're buying a used car from a used car salesman. If you show too much excitement at a used car lot, your price is going to go up. But you show that you're not interested in the car. Okay, we'll get it. The salesman is going to push you even harder. So that's one of the attributes that poker is going to teach you, right? So we are all about responsible poker gaming. And we've really had to pivot
as well? Sorry, have you gone international? Have you gone international as well? So now, do you have more?
So we just launched our app. My app just got launched 3 days ago. So we're fairly new. So all through the COVID, I think what we were doing is we were just preparing content. We were just shooting content non-stop from my house. So I've set up a green screen in my house. I've set up my edit studios in my house. Like we invested huge amount of money in a professional facility. We built studios, we built recording studios, all of that. And now we realize that, hey, we could have done this without spending all that money. We could have just done this from our house. So that's the realization that a lot of people will come to as this progresses. That
it might be actually, sorry.
We might be actually in the age of waste.
Yeah, it might be actually a good time to launch your application, because most of people are home and most of people are more online than before.
Precisely. So when we are marketing, and my social media team and my marketing team is hitting people, we are looking at user patterns that, what is the time that they're actually on their phones. Because now people have nothing better to do but then be on their phones. I think mobile phones will be a new currency, right? They're the new form of consumption of content. It's not going to be the TVs. It's not going to be cinemas. Like, look at all the big Hollywood blockbusters or Bollywood blockbusters or Pakistani blockbusters that have been made with no cinema to show it. It's the age of Netflix. It's the age of Hotstar. It's the age of Disney, right?
Amazon Prime.
Again, coming back to your question, Amazon Prime or Netflix, it's offering value to their customers, and that's the reason why they'll have a loyal stronghold in years to come.
Yep.
You know,
You
people
have to
who
have
had
a
built people who had built multiplexes, people who had built, you know, their whole sales model. What is a cinema? Cinema's sales is not only just from the tickets. Their biggest money churner is popcorn and soda, right? That's what they make their money on. That's where the big
Yeah.
revenue is. Like you go for a movie, your ticket might be like 300 rupees, but you end up spending about 600 rupees on hot dogs and popcorns and soda and whatnot, right? So there's a
Exactly.
parallel economy that's running it, which is not a very healthy
Exactly.
economy, which is not offering any value.
Exactly.
But
That's
मैं घर
true.
में दाल चावल बना के, I can sit down and watch Netflix and watch, you know, the Avengers, which is a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot more
And
healthier
then
alternative.
and then the cinema also say don't bring food from home. You know, they don't allow
Yeah,
some
no,
of
because
them.
it's a
I
manipulative.
know in UK they do in Odeon, but most cinemas they don't allow. So that's also
So
something.
obviously, bro, you know, it's just the same as going to a restaurant and carrying your own booze. You
Yeah,
can't.
the cafe and everything.
You
Exactly.
can't. You
Yeah.
can't, right? Because they want the same.
Yeah.
Right? You want to
in
support.
Pakistan you can.
Oh, really?
In Pakistan you
India
can
में
because
कुछ भी हो सकता
it's
है.
not legal.
कुछ भी
It's
हो
not
सकता
legal to take it. So yes, yeah, they can't sell it. Sometimes you just carry your own
है.
booze.
No, but the
Then you might
restaurants
find
can
the
legally
guy sitting beside
charge.
you
No,
eating
they can't.
biryani, maybe.
No, the restaurants can charge corkage. I know some restaurants who will charge corkage, and this happens in our Indian and Pakistani big weddings. Big weddings, may you rent out a banquet hall and you'd be like, yeah, your alcohol is too expensive or whatever. मैं घर से बोतलें लेके आ जाता हूँ, just charge me corkage per bottle.
I said that's something you can have in India, not in Pakistan.
India, yeah, not in
Not in
Pakistan.
Pakistan. Obviously, Pakistan
Not
में
in
तो
Pakistan.
alcohol है ही नहीं. Nobody consumes alcohol
Hey,
in Pakistan at all.
ये किसने कहा है?
Not
I was being sarcastic.
चले मीडिया पे नहीं है.
behind the screen सब कुछ है.
Pakistan
Oh.
has been making alcohol since more than 100 years. I mean, Muddy Beauty is, I think, 150 years old.
Yeah.
I know, and I'm
Yeah.
sure Mr. Zardari has a stake in it.
No. So Daria has no stake in it. No.
Mr. Musharraf then.
No, neither him. A Bandara family. It's run by Bandara family.
Sir, any big family will have some sort of a political connection, and everyone has their finger.
Yeah, but they have one for
to the
150 years old.
India is not
That
all that
family.
different from
Yeah,
Pakistan
obviously, I
and India.
know
We're
that.
not that different. I think
No, the dynamics are very similar.
our genetics are almost the same. I mean, apart from that line that divides us, I think we're just exactly the same. I think politicians have divided us. I think genetically and race-wise, I don't see much of a difference between. Like Maha is one of my best friends, you know, and we are miles away from each other. We met in Dubai. We've been friends since Dubai. You know, she's moved all the way to Canada. I've come to India. She could be in Pakistan for all I care, but it doesn't change how I feel about our friendship, right?
Yeah.
So politicians.
I have Indian friends.
My best friends are from Pakistan.
Same here. Some of my best friends are from India, by the way. So
ये politicians ने किया है और कुछ नहीं. You know, so yeah, I want to see how they start their hate mongering post the COVID. दंगे कैसे करवाओगे जब लोग ही नहीं इकट्ठा होंगे?
No, that's never going to stop. That's still going to go on. I mean, it is still going on, and these things.
Maha, you'd be surprised. I have
small
so much
level
faith. I have so much faith in the human race. Maybe I'm an optimist, but I think we will become better human beings post this experience, or at least I'm praying that we do. Because if we don't, we're doomed. We're doomed. If we don't, and if we go back to our old ways and we start waging wars against, you know, other countries for our own personal gain, whether be it oil, gas, whatever, you know, we would be lesser than an algae that resides at the bottom of the, you know, of the lake.
I think
or a river.
Before COVID, we had more of Hitlers, and after COVID, we're going to have less of Hitlers. We're still going to have there's going to be still, you know, people creating that nuisance around the globe, for sure. It's never going to end, because the balance is required for this earth, for this world to keep moving forward. We have day and night,
Yeah.
we have good and bad, we have black and white. So the good and the evil will always remain. Maybe the good will be more now and evil is going to be less. I mean, okay, for instance, I'll give you a small example. A couple of days ago, like literally hold on, two situations that happened in the last 2 weeks. 2 weeks ago, I was sitting downstairs by the window having my class in the morning with my kids, and my doorbell rings. Okay, and Sid, you know where I live. It's a very nice, quiet community, and there are cops outside my door. And I was like, what have I done? Like, I haven't done anything. I haven't gone out of the house. Like, I'm not doing anything illegal in the house either. And they were like, did you notice a guy who was standing outside your house? I said, no, I didn't, because I wasn't by the window. And he goes like, well, there was a guy standing here. He had a gun in his hand and he was waiting to rob somebody, right? And the lady from across my house, she was just walking out of her house. He showed her a gun, took her car, and fled away, right? So the crime rates definitely are increasing. 2 days ago, I heard gunshots in my area, 15 rounds, one after the other, right? And I was just thinking, is it gunshots or is it firecrackers? So I called 911 after I saw police cars in my area. And then obviously me being the investigator type and my daughter being all, CSI agent, we took we stepped out of the house and we started driving around the block to see what was happening. There were at least 10 to 15 cars in my area, cop cars. So I stopped the car and I asked,
the gap and the socio-economic gap is going to widen because of this, right?
It is.
So we might
never
not get into a third world war, but we might get into a civil war where there's a civil unrest amongst people, and we've already seen that happen in England with people.
It's actually already happening in Pakistan and India.
So yes, because
it also happened in China, by the way. But my friends in China told me that people have been running around on the streets, breaking the tube stations. Just the media has been blocking it out, actually.
No, because we've been working and we've been surviving and we've been living in a very broken system where social equality it's not now. Social equality has been there for ages, right? It's just that the gap has widened now. The gap has widened.
It's widened too much.
But again, I think at a point it will self-correct, unless and until the rebels and this and that, the other, the guys who are creating this mischief, and it's not even mischief. This is just a man trying to feed himself and his family. I think people will not be looting people because they're bad people. I think it's just going to be out of sheer need, because they've lost their jobs. They don't have money to feed their families. So yeah, I mean, I think this is there's a lot good and there's a lot bad that's going to come out of this. And it's going to have long-lasting impacts.
Yeah, post-COVID, there will be a lot of good. Yeah, there will be more good and less bad, probably. Good in terms of the way the governments are. Good in terms of how the wars were happening before. So maybe that will all subside.
I think people will want a lot more accountability from the leaders that they elect. I think people are going to be.
Let's put it like this. Yeah, let's put it like this. Whichever country has a leader in power who has moral authority is doing much better in COVID-19 compared to the others.
Yeah.
New Zealand is gone.
Yeah, Iceland.
Germany, Iceland. I don't know much about Iceland, but
Sweden.
Germany is much less than England. I mean, you have a buffoon in America. You have a buffoon in England.
Exactly.
So,
but you can see Taiwan.
You can see what's happening over there.
Yeah. So Slovakia, most of the countries, they have been coping with it very well, actually. And Sweden didn't even close their schools.
So basically, I didn't want to start a war. Because, I mean, they know little. वो भी एक से बढ़ के एक item है. Sorry. They also.
Sorry, Maha.
I was not gonna say. I didn't want to say that on live. Like I didn't want to say that live.
I mean, you know what?
Yeah.
I couldn't give a rat's ass about these politicians who've basically benefited from, like, I don't even know why we vote for Modi. We should have just voted for Ambani. Why are we talking to the middleman? Because
How about Kejriwal?
Kejriwal is
Is he
well,
good or bad?
bro.
Okay.
He's let's put it this way. I can tell you how to drive a car. I'll give you a nice spanking car, but I won't give you the keys. धक्का मार के ले जाओ.
Okay.
So
Okay.
India is that car where it's like a Porsche. It's a well-tuned car, and Kejriwal ji के पास चाबी नहीं है. वो धक्का मार रहे हैं उसको.
Yeah, I still have a hope for India's future because I've met some really good people, especially Gurmeher Kaur. I know her personally,
Right.
and I think she's the future for India. She
Maybe.
will one day become a politician. She will one day become a politician. She's studying policy and stuff like that.
We
in
need
Oxford.
the new generation to come in.
Yes.
The worst thing is, and this is not just confined to India. I think a lot of countries have gone into lockdown and whatnot. None of the countries have an exit strategy out of this lockdown.
Yes.
And I think
None
this
of
is
them
going to
have.
be a wider problem. How do you reintroduce people into their normal work environments? I don't think there's a plan for it. Everyone is playing by ear. And
They are following
the
WHO,
leaders,
Nasir.
नहीं,
WHO is
bro,
interfering.
WHO
ये भी
is
तो problem है ना?
WHO is not
They
made
are
by
interfering,
scientists
ना?
for that.
Yeah, WHO की बात ही ना करो यार. It's like I don't know what
They're just
WHO
supposed to tell you the health guideline, nothing more than that.
Correct.
They're not
But they
made
are
for
interfering
I think
in
your
the
stream has a lot of
in the
controversy.
lockdown.
I think I've come in and stirred the pot.
That
Yeah.
I have no problems. Welcome to Maha Live. This is, it's not English or Canada. Well, it is English or Canada, but again, it's Maha Live right now. So
I think it's become more of a political forum right now.
I have no problem.
Yeah, and what about there's another guy actually. I've started Kunaiya Kumar. What's your views about him?
Okay, guys, thank you so much for watching live on English or Canada. I'm moving off from there. Watch me on Maha Kitabi or the Maha Fight page. Let me just disconnect from the English